Okay, now the third part of this chapter number 2, we will be starting with the brainstorming because in the research, the brainstorming is very much important. And first of all, you have to clear your mind, your own concepts, and you have to define your problem. And the problem that is the sort of ideas you are interested in as especially as precisely as possible. Ask for suggestions relating to the problem and ask by yourself. And it might be better that if you find some experts to ask these questions. So first of all, ask yourself, ask for suggestions and that are related to your problem. Recall all suggestions, observing the following rules. No suggestion should be criticized or evaluated in any way before all ideas have been considered. It means that if you discuss the idea with other ones, with the experts, so take every and each idea to think about. Do not discard any idea while brainstorming or while discussion because any uh, a common idea may help you in refining your own problem. All suggestions, however wild, should be recorded and considered as many suggestions as possible should be recorded. So many ideas you're getting, so many uh, uh, people you are meeting with, that will transparent your idea, that will clear your concept. Review all the suggestions and explore what is meant by each, because every suggestion, every advice do have some a background theory, a background concept. So you have to understand the background concept about each and every suggestion, because might be some of them would not be aligning with your own concepts, but more of them would be aligning with your own concept. And if any good suggestion which is aligned with your own concept, that will take you to the flight. Then the analyze the list of suggestions and decide which appeals to you most as research ideas and why. So I've also already said that one of them or some of them suggest for some of those suggestions, one or a couple of them would be very close to your own concept. So make something from those ideas and suggestions that are appealing to you. Then we have to refine research idea once we are clear with our problem statement, and then we have to refine it. And for refining research ideas, we can use many techniques like Delphi technique or conducting a preliminary or pilot study or continually uh, uh, testing out your ideas and integrating ideas and refining topics given to you by your organization. First of all, we start with the Delphi technique. This involves using a group of people who are either involved or interested in the research idea to generate and choose a more specific research idea. To use these things, you need to bring a member of the group about the research idea. At the end of the briefing, to encourage group members to seek clarification and more information as appropriate. Sorry, pardon. Ask each member of the group, including the originator of the research idea, based on the idea that has been described or justified. And then to collect the research ideas in unedited or non-attributable form and to distribute them to all the members of the group. A second cycle of the process, which is maybe step 2 to 4, in which comments on the research ideas and revise their own contributions in the light of light of what other have said. Subsequent cycle of the procedure until a consequence until a consensus is reached. The hither follow similar patterns from step 2 to 4 in our one discussion. Voting for some other methods, if you can get the idea from them. Once your idea is clear, then you have to write the research questions, and research questions are consistent with your expected standards. Research questions should be able to produce clear conclusion. They must be at the right level, not too difficult, not too small, not too big, and not too descriptive. And it's better to use the Goldilocks test. What is Goldilocks test? You can read in the material I have given to you. And then when you are clear with the idea, then the turning idea into research project. And the example of the research ideas and their derived focus questions like that. The research idea like number one is advertising and the share price, and the research question that has been made is how does the running of the TV advertising campaign designed to boost the image of a company affect its share price? So I think this question is a good question, but you can rephrase it very in very precise way. The question, such question should not be too long and too short or too small. So I think this question is quite good enough. Then the job recruitment via the internet. This is a second research idea. And the question for related idea is how effective is recruiting for new staff? Why the internet in comparison with traditional methods? So these are the example of the research questions. Now turning idea into the research project. Number 2 is useful techniques, and useful techniques are basically starts with the general focus question, and then again discuss areas of interest with your tutor or supervisor. Then turning ideas into research project number 3 is writing clear research objective, because research objectives and research question, they are very closely linked together. Anyway, check your examining body's preferences for stated objectives, and use a general focus question to achieve a precise objective. I said that research questions are very much related and linked to the research objectives. And in doing so, include SMART personal objectives. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, elastic, and timely. No, specific means what precisely do you hope to achieve from undertaking the research, and measurable is what measure will you use to determine whether you have achieved your objectives, and achievable is that or the targets you have set to yourself achievable given all the possible constraints like time, like cost, and etc. Realistic, given all other demands upon your time, will you have the time and energy to complete the research in time? And timely means will you have time to accomplish all your objectives? So all these are very much important questions you should ask yourself while establishing the research objectives. One thing you normally here about the research problem and research justification, that is the underpinning theory or background theory. So background theory is very much important, and the importance of that theory is to asking for opinion and gathering facts. What type of question, which is descriptive research, using questions that to go beyond description and required analysis, that is why question, according to Phillips and Pug, in order to explain phenomena, analyze relationship, predict outcomes, and compare and generalize the ideas. So that's why you follow the theory, because theory basically gives you the answer of your descriptive nature and the analysis nature for your own research. Will explain the phenomena, because theory uh, build basis for you, and in theory you can find out the relationships what you are looking for your research. You can even predict outcomes, because when hypotheses are made, so for the hypothesis you need to look into detail out of the theory. And then if you have a good theoretical background, then you can compare and generalize your current and contemporary environment with the theoretical justifications. Theories of formulation regarding the cause and effect relationship between the two or more variables, which may or may not have been tested. So a threefold topology for the theories are there: grand, middle range, and substantive theories. Grand theory might be would be having very core theory, which may be called as an underpinning theory. Then you see that all the basic and classical theories are being discussed, molded, and tested with different kind of variations. So that is called middle range theories. And then the substantive theories are those where you find contemporary research in that. So that would be called a substantive theory. So here are the definitions. Grand theory usually thought to be a province of natural scientists that will lead to the whole new way of thinking about management. Middle range theory, which lacks the capacity to change the way in which we think about the world, but are nonetheless of the significance, because, as I said, that in the middle range theories, the lot of variations are there, and some of the theories of the human motivation well known to manager would be in this category. And substantive theory are the restricted to the particular time research getting group or population problem, and that is the substantive theory, because, as I said, that the contemporary research that have been done on that grand theory based, that would be obviously done in some particular specific area, time, some specific kind of population. So you have to see and you have to look into all these theoretical issues. Two other questions and two other top things are normally discussed in the research. That is, either your research is deductive or inductive. The discussion of theory does assume that the clear theoretical position is developed prior to the collection of the data. That is called deductive approach. And I'm repeating again. Discussion of the theory does assume that a clear theoretical position is developed prior to the collection of the data. It means that before the collection of data, you have assumed some particular kind of a you have taken some particular kind of position. You have made up your mind that these kind of results are to be examined, and after that you collect the data and you testify your already developed prior theory. While the inductive approach is not always be in such like case, it may be that your study is based on the principle of developing theory after data have been collected. Now the process is reversed. Here you can collect data first, and then you extract or take out some conclusion of that from that data, and then you can come to the conclusive statement. So that's called inductive approach. Now, the next thing is very much important, that is to write your research proposal, and we will inshallah see in the next lecture. Thank you very much.